What's going on, everybody? I just wanted to come here and talk for a little bit about the last post that I did, my interaction with Godfrey at the Helium Comedy Club here in Georgia. As a Dominican, confronting him. Appreciate everyone that watched, that commented, that liked, that shared, that followed me because of it. I think that's really cool. People get to interact and stuff. And I do, I guess, want to take this attention to kind of just take a beat and explain my interpretation of the meme of I Know Black and how it has affected me and how it affects the people around me, how I've seen it affect the people around me or the people in the zeitgeist, the people in the internet. Um, and it's gonna be a little bit of a longer video. Like I said, if you don't have time to watch this, you don't have to. I'm not forcing anyone to do it, but I do like educating, and so I'll try to keep it under 10 minutes. But yeah, the I Know Black Godfrey meme is funny. It's hilarious, right? But I did say I got sick and tired of it because that's probably the only thing that a lot of people know about Dominicans. I mean, if you know me and you've cared to listen to me and what I gotta say about it, I love my Dominicanness. Um, I, you know, try to educate people in a way that's fun and understanding intersectionality, and my intersectionality will help you understand Dominican intersectionality and culture a little bit better. So I grew up in the Dominican Republic. I was born in New York City, New York till the day I die, but I've never lived a day in New York. I grew up in the DR and then I came to Georgia. So growing up here, uh, at the age of 11, I stopped enriching myself, soaking myself in the Dominican culture. And I started kind of identifying as Dominican for a while because that was what I had been for most of my childhood. And then people didn't know what that was, you know, talking about 2010, 2011. People didn't know what a Dominican was unless you like baseball or unless you were from New York. Uh, so here in Georgia, they called me Mexican, Black, Moroccan, Arab, whatever. They called me so many things because they couldn't understand what a Dominican was. I was the only time they'd seen something like that. And so it kind of made me just be kind of ambiguous about myself. And then it wasn't until I was 14, I think I was, when I was with my best friend. We were walking to a coffee shop to play Yu-Gi-Oh because that's what I used to do after school. And I got stopped by a police officer alongside him, and the police officer called for backup because I was such an idiot. I was like, "Oh, we gotta run!" Like I was in jest, like telling my friend that we gotta get out of here, but I wasn't trying to run. It was just a joke. He took it seriously, called his backup, and he said I got a dark skinned black man and I got a light skinned black man with me. So we were both black, and I wasn't the light skinned one. And I was like, "Huh?" So a cop sees me as a dark skinned black man. At least that's what he called it in as. And that was one kind of like snap moment for me. And then like soon after that, I think it was the whole Eric Gardner situation that brought into light the police brutality issue that I'm sure people already knew, like especially black people in America already knew, and minorities in America, but it made it like global again. It made it like front page news. At least in my upbringing, that was like the first time I'd seen something like that. That was you could say it was my Emmett Till, right? And kind of with that, and then my interaction, and then I was a lot on YouTube. I started to I remember at the time watching this guy called the Almonte Films, Jeffrey Almonte, who was a black, or he identified as black, but he was a Dominican Puerto Rican from Harlem. Um, he had a lot of black humor, uh, and like really funny skits, but also kind of philosophical stuff about existence and race and politics. Just and I was just soaking it all in, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm black. I finally kind of felt like I belonged somewhere. I had already been consuming the media, loved the Boondocks, loved hip hop. Uh, yeah, and then that's how people saw me in Georgia, I guess. So I kind of just made it easier for them to kind of be like, okay, this kid is this because this is what he says he is. But then I moved back to the Dominican Republic, and now I'm 18 at the time, and now I'm a gringo in the Dominican Republic. Can you believe it? Right? My Spanish was at a 6th grade level because I left when I was from 6th grade to 7th grade. That's when I came here, and so my Spanish had also gotten a bunch of combinations from like Mexicans that were my friends out there. And so my accent even changed. I kind of had like a neutral Spanish accent like you would see in the news. And I lost a lot of the culture. I just never developed it. So now the time that I was in the DR, I was enriching myself with the Dominican culture and kind of re-identifying with it while I was living there my day to day. And like that's just kind of the intersectionality that I fell under, a Dominican American. Come back to Georgia, and then the meme drops, and then now everyone that I know is being like, I know black, puppy, I know black. And now I understand because I lived it what they meant when they say I know black. One, they wanted to isolate themselves from blackness. Yes, that is culturally something that has happened. In the Dominican Republic, there is colorism and there is racism. Systematically, that's just the way things are. There are hierarchies over there that are followed, and blackness is at the bottom, whiteness is at the top. It's just how it is. But majority of Dominicans don't deny their blackness. They acknowledge their blackness just as much as their Europeanness, just as much as their indigenousness. Because that's what the culture is. It's a combination of all of those and more. So American culture has impacted Dominican culture hella. Spanglish started in the Caribbean or in Latin spaces in America. There's a ton of pariguayo. The word party watcher, look it up. It's Spanglish. The word firulais. I saw it in a meme the other day, which is true. It means free of lice. So there's a lot of cultures that just impact the culture as a whole. Makes it more of a melting pot, not just the people, but how they experience their day to day. And they're not really trying to aside their blackness. Maybe they are. If you ask a Dominican, they say I know black. Maybe that's what they are trying to say, but I'm almost certain they're trying to say they're not African American. If English is their second language, or even if it isn't, I think African Americanness and blackness are like this. When they're more like fingers and thumbs. You can be African American and you will be black, but if you're black, you're not African American. You don't have to be. It's not mutually exclusive. I think they're just trying to delineate the fact that they're maybe just black or black with this, with that, with the other, because that's what they are. If you break it down even more, socially, races are different in the Dominican Republic than in the US. You don't only have white, black, Asian, Hispanic, Pacific Islander, or other. You have mulatto, mestizo, pardo, sambo, blanco, negro. You have so many races because they are majority mixed raced people. Whether they're mixed with indigenous and white, or they're mixed with black and white, or they're mixed with Arab and Chinese, which can happen, which has happened because there has been migrations of these people from other parts of the world into the Dominican Republic. The president right now is Lebanese descent. There's a ton of Chinese people in the Dominican Republic. El Barrio Chino in La Duarte. Y'all know this. Over 1 million of them. So This is just a melting pot, just like the US. And people from a melting pot will find spaces based on their experience that they're living in. So that's what I did. I chose to adapt because I want to belong wherever I am. I feel like everyone does. Um, I take my Dominicanness with pride, but I also love my Americanness. Being American and being Dominican and everything in between is who I am. Um, I am Black. I am European, Indigenous, all of this, Latino, you know? So the last thing I want to leave you guys with is my motto. So if I ever send you an email, my signature at the bottom has my motto, which is be an ambassador for yourselves and those like you. Be an ambassador for yourself and those like you means exactly what I've been trying to explain this whole time. The way you look, the way you portray yourself is what people will paint an image of, right? If I'm the only Dominican that you have ever met, I will create an impression of Dominicans from that point forward. So I take that with a lot of responsibility, but humbly. Take it with a lot of humbleness, right? Because I want to make sure that the interaction you have with me is one that is productive, that is helpful, that is kind, that is good, which is, like I said, is just my upbringing. That's just who I am. So with that, I want to say thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate Godfrey. Great show. 10 out of 10. Amazing. Definitely recommend. And yeah, just be good to one another. Be kind and remember to be an ambassador for yourself and those like you. Peace.